Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
Hey you guys, hey you guys, hey you guys. We are here. We are here. Welcome to another edition of We Got Issues. We are so excited that you are joining us on today, as always. And when I tell you today is going to be a fun show. We got a special guest hanging out with Gloria. And of course, you're going to meet her officially in just a few minutes. So we have a few minutes before the actual show starts. But today we're talking about what's going on in the news. When I tell you the news has been lit up with so many stories. So girlfriends, we need you to help us out. We need you to light up the chat and talk about some of the stuff that you've heard. So we're going to call it word on the street. Now, we are going to preface it by saying, we are no legal
analysts.
Down.
It's okay? About to go down right now. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. We are here. We didn't know. We are so excited about the Rocket Mortgage Golf tournament that is taking place. As a matter of fact, one of our girls, Crisette Ellis, is looking at it outside her window right now. So we just gonna go to you right quick. But this is your girl, Caterina Harris Earl, and I'm so excited that you are on with us today, Thursday, July 1st on We Got Issues. You are listening to 910 AM WFDF, the Superstation, and we have hot topics today. Today, our girl Sabrina Goodwin Monday is not with us, but she'll be back. She will be back. So we got Crisette Ellis, Lady Crisette Ellis from Detroit, Michigan. We got Gloria Mayfield Banks from Baltimore, Maryland, and we got a guest host that we're going to introduce in a little bit. I am so excited. I'm so excited. I know how to call those things that aren't as though they were, and she is on with us today. This is going to be juicy. And guess what we're talking about today? Two things. Everything. All. We are talking about everything. We're talking about everything. You ain't heard it from us. But
right. You ain't heard today, word on the street.
Yeah, today we just going to talk about stuff. And I'm just saying in advance, we are not lawyers. We are not politicians. Some of us as ministers. Okay. But, when we started the show, we said it's not really political. It's not really religious, but we go keep it real. And honestly, everything in America is political right now. So it's kind of hard to talk about what's going on without talking about politics. We're going to talk about at least these things, but we need y'all to call in. We're going to talk about Bill Cosby and the recent release. We're going to talk about Britney Spears and that whole situation. We got to talk about the indictment and the Trump organization. We're going to talk about what's happening in New York with the elections. How about that Delta variant? Another Supreme Court ruling just dropped today. We have an athletic expert who's going to help us talk about what's going on in the Olympics. I mean, we're still continuing to pray for those in the building in Miami, Surfside. Am I saying it correctly? Surfside. Mm-hmm. And then we just got to talk about the heat. I almost was late because I was like, oh, snap. I got to go look and see what temperature it is outside. And I had to get my elderly dog and say, come on, get inside, because she wants to be outside, but it's just too hot in America. So we're talking about it all. The whole show. And so please call in. We want you. Okay. The queen in music, Queen Latifah. Yes. When I tell you that BET Awards with Queen Latifah, Gloria, did you see her gown? When she walked in? Okay. The back of that gown. I was like, OMG. Okay.
I'm gonna look it up.
I mean, I tried to
I
find a
missed
good
it
picture.
too.
Oh my gosh, it was everything. That looked like a Barbara Bates, something that it was extra.
Wow.
It really was extra. So it was unbelievable. So, Crisette, I'm going to you first because we were a little piece of our show was intercepted because of what is happening in your front lawn. Okay, so we just were there at the wedding, and now the golf class was there. So talk about it.
Well, you guys, this is the second year that the PGA has the Rocket Mortgage Classic and the golf tournament. And I'm telling you, as I am looking out of my window, it is golfers everywhere. I mean, literally is what you see on TV. I mean, I don't see it a lot. I only see it when I walk past the TV and see my husband watching golf. And I'm going to tell you, and I can golf just a little bit, not even enough to say I am a golfer. But I promise you, watching golf to me is like watching paint dry. That's how interesting it is to me. Now, if my husband
how you really feel.
Heard me say that, he would probably gasp. But let me just say this. There was a time when he felt exactly the same way. I mean, we would look at each other and he would accidentally turn on the golf channel and be like, I just don't get it. I mean, how can people watch this? And now when I tell you, I'm in competition with the church and with golf. With church and with golf. Can a sister get a break? I promise you, he absolutely loves golf. And I was telling Caterina before the show, I'm looking out and our neighbors, the Jones, they have erected a platform so that it's overlooking the golf course. They're having when I say they have a party going on, they got a tent, really? Gloria. They got food.
They got to be quiet when they play golf. I thought it was supposed to be real quiet.
Well, you do. What I'm saying is they have their band ready. So after it's over, they're going to have the music. They got a caterer, and I'm sitting. I'm on Facebook, but I'm looking like this. And when I tell you, the people are there, they are having a wonderful time. Chuck is over there. Okay. What? He ain't even over here. He over there, with the golfers. But it's all good because I'm hanging out.
As soon as we're off air, you will be running over there. Don't get it twisted. She will be over there. Just follow her Instagram. She will be like this on Instagram.
Yeah, but it's exciting. It is an exciting time. And I'm so glad that they brought this to Detroit. Come on, somebody. Detroit. Give Detroit a big hand for being able to bring this kind of event and to have, this kind of awareness to the city of Detroit, what Detroit is doing, to put it on the big stage. Golf is humongous, of course, you know that, but to highlight Detroit really, really makes my heart sing. So I'm excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it to my girlfriend that is also from the D. All right. What's up, Gloria?
Oh, we are ready to have a good time today. Can you feel the energy, y'all? Can you feel the energy on the Superstation 9:10 a.m.? Can you feel it? We got issues. We're getting ready to have a good time. I can just feel it. They already trashing people. They already talking about the golfers. None of us like golf. Not nobody like golf. But you know what? Somebody must like golf. Maybe Sabrina likes golf. That's why she's not here on the show today. Maybe she said, I can't be on the show today. I must be on golf. You guys, we're missing our girl, Sabrina. She's one of the best ones to have the kind of talk when we talk about it all. So we're going to miss her. We're going to fill it in because we got a special guest right here that we're going to bring in. My sister, she's here. Why is my sister here? I'm going to tell y'all why my sister's here. Because we are having Thanksgiving in July. Anybody that knows me knows that I always host the entire family for Thanksgiving. But for some reason, I got my 3 grandgirls, plus my 2 grandsons, plus my 2 nephews, plus my other nephew from California, plus another child's coming in. Riley's probably coming in today. Then my sister's here. Then my daughter's here. Then my son's here. Then my niece is here. So I came downstairs. I said, Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Do we have extra beds? No. Do we have lots of couches? Yes. So we're having a really good time. It's July 4th. Where world is opening up a little bit. So there's a lot to talk about, you guys. A lot to talk about. But I'm going to bring her in just a minute. I'm going to hand it back to you, Caterina. Rainy in Baltimore area, but it doesn't matter because I am digging deep to get my necklaces. Y'all, before the show starts,
Yes.
Crisette acknowledged my necklace. I want y'all to know. I hope that our regulars on the show, whether you're on the radio or on Facebook Live, you have a little ticky mark on the wall. And when Crisette talks about my necklace, I hope you put a little line down there because I got recognized for my necklace. Back to you, Caterina. Necklace list, Caterina Harris.
But let me just say, the electricians came today and they hung 2 chandeliers in my new closet. And the reason I have no necklace, 2 chandeliers. Oh yeah, follow me, chandeliers. And the reason that I have no jewelry is because all the jewelry was taken out, but she's coming tomorrow to put it all back in these hanging mirrors that hold the jewelry. So as soon as I can find a necklace, I'm gonna try to enter the necklace game. But I got a ring. All right. Oh my gosh. Don't even try it. Wendy Hilliard is here, the famous gymnast, the amazing. She has been on the show before. Unbelievable. We are so excited. And so we want to know what's going on with you in your life. So much good stuff is happening. Wendy Hilliard, welcome to We Got Issues. Woo woo.
Yes. Go ahead.
Talk to us, Wendy.
Oh, you all, thank you for having me. Of course, I just came to visit my sister and then I said hi and now I'm on the show. Anyway. But here's the thing. There is a lot of news. So, yes, I'm a gymnast. I was a gymnast. I was the first Black to compete for the United States in rhythmic gymnastics. And for 25 years, I've had a gymnastics foundation in Harlem and Detroit to provide free and low-cost gymnastics for youth. And we just came back from St. Louis. So you all know what was happening in St. Louis this week. It was the gymnastics mecca. It was the national championships. And one of my athletes is a national champion in tumbling. He went. Zaquay Carter, and then
big.
First
big.
And then
That
BJ Mensah,
nephew,
my son. He made the national junior team, the junior national team in tumbling and double mini. So he might be going to Azerbaijan for the World Championships later this year. So that was
my goodness.
Yeah, so that was us. But you know what we did is we were able to go to the Olympic trials to see the one and only, the GOAT, the best, Simone Biles.
Yes, they were there.
Talk to us.
That was
what was it like? What was that like?
It was so exciting. And, you know, it's Simone. I love all gymnastics. So they were choosing the men's Olympic team and the women's team and the rhythmic. But when you go see her live, you just appreciate how talented she is. I mean, she is just so calm and so cool. And to watch someone who you know is going to be fabulous, usually you're nervous when you see sports. You don't know how they're going to do. But when you watch her, you know she's going to be spectacular. And she didn't disappoint. For us, everybody in America, because not many people can go to the Olympics this year, and I usually go to every Summer Olympics, we couldn't go. And so for us to be able to see the Olympic trials, and not just Simone, the whole team. I mean, we got Jordan Fowles in here.
Yeah.
Jordan, who's one of her teammates in Texas. Everybody hit. I will say this. All the gymnasts did really fabulous routines for the most part. It was exciting gymnastics. So we're very excited that we're going to have a superstar team over there. And it was, you know, they were so happy. They were so relieved. You have to remember, they're waited a year for this.
Extra
year, right? It's extremely hard. Let me tell you, it's extremely hard to peak at a certain time and then say, no, let's wait one more year. And so they were just the relief. You could see the joy, but there was also relief that it was done. And it was really powerful. It's exciting.
Wow. Hey, Wendy, you know what was really, really so awesome to see was to see Simone Biles step into that leadership position, because we know that she's still young, but she's like the leader of the pack. I mean, just to hear her talk, to see her hug the necks of her teammates, and to hear when they interview her talk about, her role and, being the captain and, how she inspires them and encourages them. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
Yes. I mean, mhm.
You want me to go?
Go ahead,
No, I
Gloria.
want,
Oh,
can you hear me? You can't hear. Okay, so I want Wendy to talk a little bit about seeing Simone in that leadership role, because that's an excellent point. And, you know, we were talking when she was there, and what we see on the TV and what she really gets to see live is two different things. And you know how Sabrina says Biles and Childs, you know, so it's the Biles and Childs show. So what did you think you saw that we didn't see, especially in that leadership impact?
We want to know.
Well, this is really interesting. Really, after Simone did Beam, because she had to fall the final day.
Right.
But it was very interesting because Jordan, before she did Floor, she was just talking back and forth with Jordan. It was like her coaches were there, but they were kind of talking like sister talk. It's like, okay, yeah, you got this. It was an amazing sight to see the kind of support, because it's stressful. I mean, it is the Olympic trials for gymnasts is the most stressful meet. It's like for swimmers. It's like if you don't make it, you don't make it. If you don't do the trials, you can't go to the Olympics. So we have so many good athletes that you have to be on for the trials. So what you didn't see is how Simone and Jordan really supported each other, right? You'd think it was just Simone supporting Jordan, but you can see that Jordan was there for her as well. And that in gymnastics and just in general, to have a teammate, assistant teammate that has your back, and the only one who knows how tough it is out there. Let's be clear.
Right.
The only
who really knows how tough it is.
Really know how tough it is. And I will say this, you know, as a female athlete, Simone is carrying this Olympic Games for America and for NBC and for most everybody, right?
What?
Well, you know, think about it.
She's in every commercial.
She's a Simone, and the fact that she's so not just mature, but she is so confident. This is what it is. You know, she speaks well. She speaks the truth. You never think that she's, you know, trying to say something message. She just tells it like it is. And it's very difficult to do for an athlete who's just training on being physical, right? She also has to have this mental capacity, because every word, everyone's listening to her every word. But I have to say, from being a champion athlete and to hear her and how she really supports her athletes, her sisters, the Black community, how she supports everyone. I mean, she's just a big advocate, and it's very unusual. Athletes like her that have that kind of impact socially. I mean, I come up with other athletes like a Muhammad Ali. I come up with other athletes like Tom Smith. I mean, that really have that kind of impact. He's in that stratosphere of people that can have an impact.
Wow. How old is she, Wendy?
24.
Wow.
And Muhammad Ali was
Unbelievable.
having his impact. He was young.
He was young.
When Muhammad Ali started his impact, he was young.
He was young.
It takes a lot of courage to do that. It takes a lot of courage to speak out and to be a great athlete all at the same time.
What is her platform when she's speaking out? What is she's, you know, when you say she's got courage to speak out?
She's always protecting the rights of the athletes. That's one of her things. And, you know, she has a big supporter of foster care. You know, Simone, I think people don't realize when she was young, she was put in foster care. And her father, basically her mother's father and his wife, came and took her out of foster care and raised her.
Who is the parents in the audience?
Her parents in the audience yes, they're technically her grandparents, and it's her grandfather and his wife, Nellie.
Oh, that's who that is.
But they're her parents because they adopted her. They raised her since she was like, 6 years old. And let me tell you, I think people don't understand. You've got to give it to the parents. That strong, that kind of base. And I think that's why Simone can be so confident, is her parents have been there all along the way. They're just a very, what's going to say? They know what they're doing. They're very confident. They just have a very good base. She has a good team around her, which doesn't always happen. It's really important. Your agents, whoever you're representing, everybody has to protect her. But also, I think, and she says that they came and basically saved her from the foster care system. And so she always goes back to support that. People don't understand that she had it very tough when she was young. And so I think that's one more reason why she's so sensitive and so appreciative of what she has.
So
I mean,
so interesting.
Just unbelievable. Think about all that talent that if the parent, if the right guardian, if the right environment had not been set up for her, what the world would have lost.
Right,
So unbelievable.
right.
Wendy, you are a gift to We Got Issues on Thursday, July 1st. When I tell you, we are going to a commercial, and when we come back, we got more hot topics. We are going to keep it powerful, positive, but not Pollyanna. We're going to talk about some stuff. We will
Talk about
to
it.
you when
Talk
we get back
about it.
from the break.
Okay.
Oh
So-
my gosh,
Oh.
was that an awesome conversation? When I tell you, we're so
They
excited to
can see.
have Wendy with us
And-
on today. When I tell you, she is phenomenal in her
We're gonna talk
own
about
right.
everything.
And it is so awesome. I mean, how blessed are we to have, these kind of individuals that we can call her Gloria's sister? What? All up in the Olympics. And so we're excited. Can't wait to watch Simone Biles and her team when they go to Tokyo. So we absolutely want you to put it in the chat. What are some of the stories that you have heard on today? This week, we want to talk about some things. And you know what? Maybe you have some answers to some questions. I mean, we don't know it all. This is that show where you just say, this is what I heard, word on the street. So if you have some tea on some of the things that we're talking about, you can either put it in the chat, or of course, we love to hear your voice. So you can absolutely call us at 313-778-7600. So you guys, we're going to be talking about a lot on today. Did you guys see the statue of Princess Diana? It was unveiled today, and I believe today she would have been her birthday, 60 years old. You talking about a life cut short. I so remember when it was announced to the world that she was involved in that tragic car accident where, the paparazzi was following her. And I just can't imagine, her two sons, Harry and William, they were there to unveil the statue. And I thought the statue was a wonderful statue that really embodied who she was, especially, her love for and the heart that she had for children. I never forget, the pictures that they would show when she would travel to various countries that were impoverished, children that had AIDS. She was doing some things that, the royal family hadn't done before, even to hug children that, had HIV. I mean, she really was such a beautiful embodiment of what a real princess should be. So we absolutely.
All righty. It is the Force of Friendship on We Got Issues. You are listening today to your host, Caterina Harris Earl, Crisette Ellis, Gloria Mayfield Banks, and our honorary guest today, Wendy Hilliard, just happens to be on We Got Issues, and she has given us the juice. Wendy, I want to go back and we want to hear more about your son and all of the victory that he has, and what it is like to be a parent of a champion. You're a champion. Champions beget champions. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, for one, I'm very proud. It's amazing because I was on the national team quite a few years ago, but I know what it's like to make the national team. So when you make the national team, you're basically selected that you can represent the United States in international competition. That means you're in each division, they pick the top 6. And it's really, I have to say, for BJ, he is a very good competitor. It's very hard. He can focus when it's time to perform. He performs, and that's not easy. But also, he has a great coach. I got to say, we started with our team in New York. Dennis and Sean were his coaches. But the last few years, he's been training with Roger Walker at Cavu. And Roger was a world champion. So that makes a big difference. Roger is extremely disciplined, and he does a lot of conditioning. I don't think you guys understand the part of gymnastics, which is not just the flipping. You have to be so strong. All gymnasts are like super conditioned. The abs, the upper body. It's like, it's not that fun, but you have to do it to stay safe. So Roger, and this is an important thing I want to tell parents. I totally trust Roger as a coach. I know, for one, he is a champion, but 2, I know his coaching technique. He really has a long-term vision, and he makes sure that conditioning makes sure your kids are safe and that they can perform.
The trust, though.
The trust. It is the trust. If you don't trust your coach, The gymnast, of course, is to trust the coach, but the parents have to trust the coach. And that trust is what makes us together as a team be able to support an athlete. I support BJ. I mean, definitely, I'm a gymnast. I can be on the floor. It's very funny. This time I couldn't be on the floor because my other son was graduating, right? So I was in New York at my son's graduation while BJ was in the preliminaries, and he was able to perform. He was able to do what he's going to do, mainly because he goes to practice on a regular basis. Let's be clear. There's some things you can't skip on.
Right.
It takes a lot of
when
practice.
you do something over and over and over again, when it's time to do it, you can do it.
You can do it. And so being a parent, which, it's hard to watch your child from the side, but here's the thing. It's much easier if you know they're prepared, if you know that they trust what they're doing, and then you have to step back. It's like anything else. Sometimes when your child has to go, they got to go. But you have to do your work on the other side, which is to make sure they get good food, to make sure they get good rest, to make sure. And there are a lot of things to being a supportive parent, and it does have nothing to do with telling them how to do their sport. That's not a parent's job. Let's be clear.
Wendy, I want to ask you this. Of course, we know that you are an amazing gymnast yourself, and you've been to the Olympics and all that. How did you know that your son would follow in, your footsteps, and that he would have a love for the sport? Did he show early on?
The radio can't see Gloria pointing to herself. Okay, keep going, Chris.
Did you know? I mean, what was it that gave you a clue that I think my son is going to be really, really good at tumbling?
He wanted to do it. That's the thing. So I have 2 kids, and they were around the gym a lot because I have a gymnastics program. So they were always there. My oldest son was not so interested. He wasn't so interested. And here's the thing about gymnastics. When BJ was 3, he would stand in line. He would listen to the coaches. This was the main thing, is that anybody who taught him any sport, he would listen to them and follow directions very well. Not all kids want to do that one. And then after a while, he's like, Mom, when are we going to gymnastics? I want to go to gymnastics. I didn't have to pull him to gymnastics. He always wanted to practice. He always wanted to do it because parents need to know this. If the child doesn't want to do it, it's not worth your time. Don't waste your time. They want to do it, it's okay. Because they have to do it. You can't do it for them. So the one thing I did notice is that I said, oh my gosh, I must have been this crazy about gymnastics when I was little.
Yeah, she was. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the house had to lean when she was doing gymnastics. I mean, my mother, y'all, seriously. Okay, so I'm the oldest sister. I know you can't tell right now. I'm the oldest sister. And when I was doing things, I had to give up the car so that she could do gymnastics and swimming. Whatever the other 3 of us needed to have done was no longer important in order for us to produce a champion. So you had to have very confident, successful sisters on their own that could make it. That's why this is a hot topic today, okay? Because it falls over into everything. But it is true. We all make sacrifices. But I did see BJ as a superstar because, and me and my other sister were talking about this, because she is a champion, she expected to see so much more from him. I said, Wendy, he's awesome. Yeah, he's okay. I said, Wendy, he can really do it. Yeah, he got a little bit more to go. He got a little bit more. But I saw that he was a champion. And sure enough, he's turned into a phenomenal champion.
Wow.
That must feel amazing. It must feel amazing, Wendy. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like to see your love manifest so successfully in your seed. So I know you're excited, and we're excited to watch, and excited to watch the next. That is so good. Y'all, we promised today on We Got Issues that we were going to just talk about several different things. And so I am bringing up the next topic. We are talking about Bill Cosby.
Oh,
we're talking about Bill Cosby.
Bill
was released.
Cosby. Let's say it again.
From Wednesday.
Bill Cosby.
Yes,
Bill
Cosby.
Every time,
like
Cosby.
Jello, what else? All those things. He was released from prison Wednesday after the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned his 2018 conviction for sexual assault, a dramatic reversal in one of the first high-profile criminal trials of the Me Too era. This as many have said, disgraced star was released from prison after serving 2 years of a 3 to 10 year sentence. He is 83 years old and was released, you guys. The overturn of Cosby's conviction resulted in swift backlash from his accusers and celebrities. Now, as I said earlier, I'm not a lawyer. I also said yesterday, I realize the importance of fair juries, because when I look at Bill Cosby, some of the features of his face and how he walks reminds me of my daddy. So it is hard. It would be very hard for me to be on a jury and be unbiased,
Unbiased, right?
Unbiased, right? But I tell you, you just can't. The number of people that came out against him, it just seemed to be undeniable. But when I listened last night and I learned why was he released, he was not released because of innocence. He was released because they said to him, now I'm paraphrasing in my non-legal language, they promised him that he would not be tried. And so during this during the civil suit, he was not able to plead the fifth, because if you don't have a threat of prosecution, you can't plead the Fifth Amendment. And so he spilled the beans in the civil suit. And then they came back and prosecuted him. So legally, it was wrong. And so, so how do we feel about that? When I hear that, I mean, to me, if they do not follow the letter of the law, and he would perjure himself or couldn't plead the fifth or whatever. We just watched Derek Chauvin, who didn't testify, so what are your thoughts about Bill Cosby, y'all? And we're still waiting. If you want to share in the chat, you can. And if you want to call us, we got issues.
No, they need to call in. We need to hear your voice. We want those encouraged to call in 313-778-7600 and call in and talk like you know what you're talking about, like we get ready to.
Yes. What are we missing? Because I got a girlfriend from college that said if anybody, even one of my old friends, gets on social media and defends Bill Cosby, I will unfriend you today. Like, that is one of my girlfriends. Like, I introduced her to her husband. So I was like, okay. Like, it's some people that are very, very hot about this topic. So Millicent says another black man wrongly locked up.
Well, I'm okay.
Go, Gloria. I'll go after you.
Okay, so the part that I'm very sensitive about is how race plays a part of this. I just can't help it. I think so much is wrong about this whole situation. So much is wrong about this situation. However, when I saw what happened to Bill Cosby, and then you highlight what you highlighted, Caterina, I just hate the fact that we have seen such discrimination in the courts, such discrimination for the treatment, such discrimination in the news, such discrimination in the coverage, such discrimination with the attorneys, such discrimination. So if I'm not deciding the right and wrong of the conviction, but I'm deciding right and wrong of the situation, it's not right that we have to be so subject to unfairness because we're black, or because we don't have the same amount of money, or because we don't have the same amount of connections. Bill Cosby has money, but he doesn't have the connections that Matt Laurie had when he did it on NBC, or when Charlie Rose did it on CBS, or when that other guy, his name is, that the big handles all the movie stars. What's his name?
Harry.
Yeah.
Weinstein.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I am appalled at the possibilities of what could have happened or may happen or did happen or whatever. But I am upset that the discrimination is also so glaring and so obvious.
What were you going to say, Chris?
Yeah, I was going to say, Gloria, you were spot on. You hit the nail on the head. You do feel for the women that were abused by Bill Cosby, because it's not a matter of, did he do it or did he not do it? We already know that he testified to, and he acknowledged the things that he did. But, I also agree with you, Gloria, that it really is a sad day in America where, you can't just say something is black or white. When it comes to this kind of an issue, as Black people, we have seen it over and over and over. So many of our men that have been wrongly accused. We've seen so many men that are still in prison today because they didn't get the right kind of lawyer, because they were coerced into saying something, that wasn't true. People made up stories. I mean, it goes on and on. And so at the end of the day, you can feel for the women who had to go through what they've gone through. But at the end of the day, the law is the law. And so if he was told that he could tell the truth and it would not be used against him, we have to be very careful, because to me, that's a slippery slope. If I tell you and you say you're not going to prosecute me, and then after I do it, you throw me with the okie doke. So, it's just one of those issues. Of course, women that have been abused and are still waiting justice, or some have never received justice. I know for them, this is bittersweet. And so, I feel sorry, but I am thankful that, a Black man did get the justice that other individuals, Caucasians, whites, would have gotten had they been in the same position.
Absolutely. We know that many crooks, criminals, mob folks, all kinds of folks have gotten off on a technicality, let alone a clear something that was clearly done wrong legally. When I watched last night, knowing we were going to talk about this today, and I watched one of the African-American women who had been a victim, and her grandmother, I think, he used to go over to their house. Her grandmother would cook for them. So it wasn't just somebody who was in passing. Like, he had a relationship with her grandmother and still did this to her. And she said that to this day, she still goes to therapy. 30 years, 40 years later, she was just in tears and distraught. So, it's just interesting. It's not just interesting. It's just so challenging, but yet, I see Attorney Crump, he had this on Instagram. Derek Chauvin got 22.5 years for murdering George Floyd, and then he shows Alan Russell, who got a life sentence for possessing marijuana. I mean, so many times, Black folks it's just not even in terms
not even
of
close
what we get. So hot topics today. Another botched case. Dorothy says, my prayers go out to the victims. I agree with why he was released, but I'm sick over the injustice for women. We are sick. I mean, all of us are sick. You cannot be okay with that injustice for women. It's just absolutely not okay.
And we can talk about that for just a second, because the injustice for women is a huge problem. I mean, it's just a huge problem. It's a real problem. And the thing is that it goes to, this case was highlighted because it's a superstar man. But what about the average everyday woman who deals with this on a regular basis? What about those young girls that were in the Olympics, for example?
That's what I was going to say.
In colleges, it's a huge issue. I mean, it's such a huge issue. So the fact that they have to double up on the right and wrong of this, you can't pick sides. You just can't pick sides. There's so much about this that's just so horrible that you have to talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, it gets suppressed and nothing moves forward.
Now, they did say that last night he had pizza and he was telling some jokes, and that he said he's looking forward to going back out and doing comedy. I don't know
right. Cause they said when they were talking about it today on Inside Edition that he already has some gigs lined up. Now, you know what? At 83 years old, I will say this. I'll go on a limb and say this. Bill, stay home. Just, as to me, it's almost like OJ. OJ, whether you believe he was guilty or innocent, he got off. Now go into the abyss. Go and live your life quietly. You ain't not got to be all out there loud. And, sometimes it's like putting salt in an open wound. I think sometimes we do ourselves damage, especially when you have a lot of baggage. And I'm not saying that you can't live your life, but sometimes, you need to be sensitive to how other people feel. Bill, you confess that you did these things. So now, at 83 years old, just, live your life quietly, but to go back out on stage and to try to tell jokes, to me, I would be afraid if I was him to do that. I would be afraid somebody's going to throw some eggs, some tomatoes or whatever.
Or worse. Yeah.
Or worse. So that's just my personal opinion, that he needs to just sit back and live a quiet life and not go back on stage.
Yeah, I won't be buying any tickets, but wow. So we here we go, girlfriends, Wendy. Okay, we got issues. Manhattan grand jury indicts the Trump Organization and the CFO Alan Weisselberg. The charges, which people familiar with the matter earlier Wednesday told, this was from CNN, related to the alleged tax crimes in connection with an array of perks, and not just small perks, y'all. We talking big perks and benefits awarded to employees, private, apartments, and we know an apartment in New York ain't, okay. Awarded to employees are expected to be unsealed. They were unsealed today. It is not immediately clear how many charges are in the indictment, although I think it's come out now. I was listening to what Michael Cohen said. He said this might stick. And, clearly we can make this totally political. I'm talking about right and wrong. Right. When a organization, a corporation does not properly pay taxes, especially when that is what you just can't have it.
You run the country. You run the country.
Yeah.
And you ain't paying the taxes.
Yeah. It's just a
hey,
problem.
Gloria, Donald Trump said he don't pay taxes because he's smart and everybody else is dumb. Okay?
Yeah, but
smart people
I don't know
don't
how
pay
not to
as
get
much
political.
tax.
I don't know how to get anti-political about this. I really don't. But I'm going to go to our guest here, who's out of New York. Now, let me tell you something.
Yes.
Both of us from the Big D, right? But she lives in New York. So my question to our guest over here is, what's the flavor in New York? What's the flavor in New York? Because it's bad, and then people are bringing him down. So what's the flavor in New York?
New Yorkers have known about Donald Trump for years. I don't think people understand. Everyone, when he was running, we had this long history of how he was always in the press, always dramatic. Most of us knew he wasn't doing things right. And New Yorkers, which is one of the reasons why he left New York, but New Yorkers are not surprised by this at all. We are totally not surprised. Wow. I think we were so surprised that the rest of the country didn't understand this, but we've been living with this for a long, long time. And let me tell you, don't play with the legal system in New York City. Just don't. They are on it. They are working really hard, and they have the right, because you're cheating people out of what we are deserving. Those taxes pay for services for the livelihood of New Yorkers. Thank you very much. And so you have to do your due, because you got a lot, you took a lot from the city and you have to give it back. And we're not playing, and we're not too surprised.
For years and years and years. And, they've been talking about when Weisselberg flip, right? And he said that he wouldn't. However, if anything went to his kids, I just heard some of the commentators talking yesterday that, if it's your kids or turning on your boss, okay. And who would want to spend, how old did they say he was? He's 72, so even having a short stint in jail, prison, whatever they call it, is a big deal when you are 72 years old. Right. But someone said earlier today that they might not even need him anymore, that the documents might be enough, that his time of the opportunity for a plea deal might have passed, because if you have enough documents, maybe they don't need it.
Wow.
Well, let me just tell you this, okay? So how about some of those documents came from his ex-daughter-in-law, okay? I mean, they came and she gave
Oh,
them
Chris, talk to us. I didn't know
boxes.
that piece. Mhm.
Yes, she gave them boxes of information with sensitive stuff. Let me tell you something. What's that old saying? Hell has no fury like a woman what? Scorn. Now, I don't know about her relationship with her ex-husband, but all I do know is she said, hey, you guys, I got a whole bunch of boxes here at my house that got some information that might be pertinent to the case. Feel free to come and pick it up. And they went and they took boxes from her, from her home. So I thought that was real interesting. And she's been on CNN and other of the news media outlets talking about it. So now I thought that was real interesting because she was married, I want to say, to his son for over 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
She got document. They have an argument. She's like, I'm going to grab that off the desk. They have another argument. Let me grab that off the desk. Oh,
okay.
You want me to check your email? I'll check your email for you. I'm going to get this off the desk. The other thing I want to say is that sometimes people don't understand how the federal government gets these people to talk. Their ability to press you, the thing that went down in Detroit when the mayor of Detroit, Kwame, they can come hardcore press and they threaten you. That's how Michael Cohen started talking. No matter what Trump has promised them, when the federal government wants you to start talking, they will put the squeeze on you, your wife, your kids, your parents. They will come and do and say they will and they give you a very tight limited time to make up your mind. So your chances of getting your lawyers to do something is very well erased because they come after you very deep. So they've wanted Trump for a long time and he's been able to skate it. But once you get the people in his organization to start talking, it's very hard to cover up what he did.
Yeah, and when they said, you can just say, well, I don't know anything about that. I paid someone to handle that. But with taxes, aren't you required to? I mean, that I thought that doesn't fly with taxes. If my tax professional makes a mistake, it still comes back. I'm still ultimately responsible if I hire someone who's incompetent or breaks the law. I mean, so I don't know how that is going to fly, especially when, Michael Cohen was like, oh, trust anything that happens in that organization.
That's what he said.
What went down. That's what he said. So we are watching, we are talking about issues. Okay, Chris, so we're going to go a little bit lighter. We're going to go to Hollywood. Tell us what you got. Oh, we got issues. What we've been watching, and it even just came down. Another situation just came down since we've been on the line.
Okay, so Hollywood. I'm not really sure.
Britney,
I was going to
Britney.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so Britney Spears, you guys. I mean, that is such a sad situation. Situation. I mean, her father has been over her affairs for, I believe, over 13 years. I mean, because she's had a nervous breakdown, her life has been lived in the public. And so, as stars, the pendulum goes both ways. When you're hot. And then when, things in your life happen, everybody gets an opinion. Everybody talks about it. So I really feel very sorry for her. There's so many people with opinions. There's so many that says, she need to be able, at this point in her life to live her life, to do what she wants to do and not have the conservatorship over her. And so, of course, we know that recently she went to court to see if they would remove that from her, and they just came back and said no, they were going to still allow her father to be over her affairs. And so it was so interesting. They showed today on social media, she was out there, showing off her body. She had 3 different bathing suits and she was dancing around. And so sometimes you look, and I guess we can be our own worst enemy. But then I believe too, sometimes when you just feel like nobody is hearing you and that, nothing is changing, I guess you just have to learn how to deal with it the best way that you can. But, I just kind of feel for her. I don't know all, of course, a lot of what they discuss in court. We don't know everything about the situation. We don't know 100% her mental.
Some of the recording came out and they had to pull that recording. Somebody recorded in the courtroom and released it. That's what just came down. And somebody gonna get in trouble for that. They recorded it, but
they recorded.
We don't know it all.
What did they record?
Something. It literally just came down. I didn't get to read it all, but something was recorded. You're not supposed to have an audio device in the courtroom, and somebody recorded something and it's been released. Yeah, something happened. So we're gonna have to see. But I got the feeling that there's something. It's challenging. Maybe there's something more that is the family knows it all, and they just not gonna put her out there. So, it's just hard to say.
Started talking. Her sister started talking and was backing her up, backing up Brittany and not the father. So, this stuff is super. It's interesting because what you see happen, I think one of the reasons that when we see things happen to celebrities, we know that some of that stuff happens in regular life, but regular life doesn't make the news. So we lean over to see what we see happen to other people because it happens in everyday life. There's that same type of stuff that's going on everywhere else. It's just not the same kind of money. But, to some people, $100,000 is like $1 zillion, So it's really sad to see on both sides. Can you imagine a parent having to do that to the child, and imagine a child who is that talented being under an umbrella and not having, at her age, with her kids are almost grown.
But she wants to have more kids and she can't. Like, that is interesting.
I can't, but that's hard for me that she can't have more kids. And they said she couldn't have her IUD removed.
Yeah. She wants to have more children, and that level of control is interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because who are they controlling in America saying you can't have kids? It's some people you might want to control, but that part is interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If they can do that, that's why the voter suppression stuff is real. Yeah. If they can do that, they can do a lot through the courts.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Stay woke.
Okay, so we got
issues. This is 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, and we got issues.
So we only got 5 minutes left, and I definitely want to hit on this. We got like 3 more issues. Chris, you want to talk? Go to your one other issue. So I definitely want to talk about the Supreme Court.
Okay, really quickly, today was a special day. They showed Prince William and Harry. They were together, and they unveiled the statue of Princess Diana. Today would have been, I believe, her 60th birthday. 60th. And they had, a statue erected in her honor. And I thought the statue was a great representation of who she was as an individual. One of the things that we loved about Princess Diana, everybody was just so in awe when they had that fairy tale wedding. I just so remember watching it, glued to the television, watching her get married. And then, of course, the messy divorce and all of that took place. But one of the things that we loved about her was her heart. She had a heart for children. She had a heart for those that were disenfranchised. She had a heart. I mean, when you saw her with, children from all of these underprivileged countries that had HIV, and she wasn't afraid to hold them and embrace them. I mean, we fell in love with Princess Diana. So for them to unveil that statue with her and the children, it really, to me, spoke to who she was as an individual.
Mm-hmm. We loved her. I saw it in passing, and I don't know what I expected. So, and I didn't get to hear the story behind it. I know an amazing story. I wasn't as like when I saw the statue as I had hoped to be, but I'm looking forward to being able to travel back to the UK and see it myself. So,
I see it, and I see what I loved about her was that she was so amazing and so humble. And so to me, the statue is a very relatable statue. Like, she's somebody that loves the world, loves children, loved, that's how I see the statue. It's just a Diana. I loved her. I remember being in Paris when she passed, standing outside the music store, listening to the music and just crying in Paris. Like, I cannot believe she's gone. She was I loved her.
Yes. So I look forward to taking a close look at it myself. So, all right. In the time we have left, y'all, I want to hit on the Supreme Court. We don't have time to do it total justice, but the Supreme Court upholds Arizona voting restrictions. The decision, a test of what remains of the Voting Rights Act, suggested that challenges to many new measures might be harder, might make harder to vote, may not be as successful. So today's Supreme Court decision, the Brockovich versus Democratic National Committees, the Democratic National Committee significantly undermined Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And so there were some other things I was going to read on it, but we don't have time. So I want the girlfriends just to jump in. This is unfortunate. What was it? 6-2. I believe the decision was 6-2, and the president spoke out about it. 6-3. I knew this. There's 9. So, it's unfortunate. We got work to do, but when the Supreme Court speaks, it just means we have lots of work to do.
Yeah, it means that we have a whole lot of work to do, and I think that we don't understand as much as people. Just like we did climate change, we don't understand the importance, the significance, the depth, the urgency, the trouble we're in. We're in a massive trouble. I just keep going. If you don't know we're in trouble, go back to January 6th. If you go back to January 6th, you'll be clear what kind of trouble we are in. So
today they arrested more people. They arrested more than a dozen people today in the Capitol riot. It was a big day.
And Sabrina, Caterina, a lot of those that were arrested was from Michigan.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, they
very interesting.
Kidnap the governor. It's just a hot mess out there.
As of June 21st, 17 states enacted 28 new laws that restrict access to the vote. With some state legislatures still in session, more laws will certainly follow, which we will track in the next roundup. We'll be talking more about it, but it just goes on and on and on. Indeed, at least 61 bills with restrictive provisions are moving through 18 state legislators. And so it's just very, very important. This is not where we wait until election time and we jump in and start working. This is happening now, under the radar right now. Yeah. Well, we know where Chris is going. She's going next door to the party.
Hey, you guys, tomorrow looks like it's going to be about Secret Service. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the Secret Service. Not a lot of time. We have a guest from the Secret Service. It'll be interesting.
Oh my gosh. Well, we thank Wendy Hilliard from Wendy Hilliard Foundation. We appreciate you for being there, and thank you for giving us the tea on the Olympics. You're listening to We Got Issues. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for listening in, and we look forward to having you on the show tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
He just cuts it off.
OMG, Facebook, thank you for jumping in. I know you loved having Wendy. Next time when she's visiting, she's going to say,
hey, Wendy, what you doing next week?
Next time she's going to say, I'm not coming to say hi, you guys. I was so excited. I literally, for Facebook, just said, we need someone who could talk about what's happening in sports. I need somebody who could talk about what's happening in sports. And Gloria didn't answer. Okay. So
that was awesome.
Thank you, Facebook.
Look, your husband said you put a chandelier in his closet.
I know.
Yeah, that was funny.
He's so messy. He's so messy. He's so messy. Okay, but wait till he sees it. His closet looked just like the men's store. Okay, he gonna love it. He's talking trash.
Sabrina, you gotta do a live inside your new closet, because
I will.
we want to know, we want to see. So you gotta do a live inside your closet.
Yeah.
I will, and then we'll go to your closet, and I'll be like, okay, my closet
Not
is
yet.
the entrance to
Well,
your
do it fast. Do
Okay.
it fast. Do it fast.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye.